this thing right here. We're live. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Doug Barry here. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Always got a couple little technical glitches here and there that have to be taken care of when you do these type of things. So I appreciate your patience for this. We are excited to be with you. We're going to be doing this tonight. Tomorrow night, we've got another live event we're going to be doing. And then again on Friday, we're getting ready for a workshop we're going to be offering on Tuesday next week and Wednesday, the 17th and 18th. Now, the purpose of this is we've got to talk about what's going on in the world. We've got to talk about the food shortages, the supply chain problems, all these types of things. Not exciting stuff. Talk about this. I just put a podcast out this morning on our BR Coalition podcast that we've been offering now. We also have our BR Coalition YouTube channel watching on, and I appreciate you being there. And we also have the Doug Barry YouTube channel. We've got our brcoalition.com website. A lot of these different places, all these different places, we're basically saying the same thing, is we've got to take seriously what's going on. We've got to take seriously the response that we have with what we're seeing happen all around us. Before we get started, though, always want to start with a prayer. So we're going to call on the intercession of the Blessed Mother. Almost always have her over here when I'm doing shots in my office here. Want to have her over my left shoulder here, Our Lady of Fatima, beautiful statue. You always know it's Our Lady of Fatima because she's standing on a cloud right here, and you'll see the little trunk of the tree right there. See that little trunk of the tree? Yeah, that's her right there. And appearing to 3 little children in 1917 and warning them that we needed to change our lives, change our ways because of the seriousness of the times. That's what we saw in Fatima in 1917. So tremendously important that we take Our Lady's warnings seriously with regards to her urgent call for conversion. And so that's all part of what we do here at BRC. And what I've been doing with my YouTube channel, my personal evangelization for 32 years all over the country and outside the country is talk about the importance of the warnings coming from God, the call, the encouragement from our Blessed Mother that we need to be taking seriously so that we can be better prepared spiritually and physically for the world we live in. So let's start with the prayer. We're going to start with the prayer to the Blessed Mother, calling her intercession in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. Got my special Ireland hat here. Love the Ireland hat. Unique relationship that I have, I like to say, with St. Patrick himself. Why? St. Patrick, being from Ireland, that's my heritage. My family goes back to Ireland. There is a county over there named after me, probably before me, Barry. All right, so that's over in Ireland. But you've also got a lot of warrior-minded individuals, from that part of the world over the years who stood up and fought for the truth, for the faith. We know this of Ireland. Ireland has a very, very deep traditional Catholic culture and heritage. So anyway, we want to call on St. Patrick always, for his guidance, his intercession, with the work that we do. He drove snakes out of Ireland. We have to be driving the snakes out of our lives and out of our world too by being instruments in God's hand. So that fits very much into what we're talking about here. Now, a couple of key points I really want to address regarding preparedness in general, spiritual and physical preparedness. Now, Father James Altman is a popular figure right now in the world. There's a lot of people who know who he is, a lot of people who pay attention to Father James Altman when he's out and about and preaching. Now, Father Altman is a friend of mine. I've known him for many years before he became so popular with the statements that he made about you cannot be Catholic and Democrat. And that really got the ball rolling in him being canceled and so forth. And other priests we're dealing with the cancel culture of priests everywhere. But Father Altman and I were talking, and he says this on video. We interviewed him, and he says this on video regarding preparedness. He says, it is imperative that we prepare our spiritual ark and our temporal ark. Temporal, of course, meaning the physical, the natural. We have to be taking care of both. It's a very important thing to consider. You think about the preparing of the ark, you go back to Noah, and I find it very amazing that people today, and it's one of the points, there's 3 main points I want to bring up today regarding preparedness and our attitude towards preparedness. You think about Noah and the ark. There was a time when God said to Noah, by the way, imagine that. Just imagine God, the author of life, the one who is capable of making possible the things that are seemingly impossible. And this God that is our God, the only God, the one true God, says to Noah, I need you to do something for me. I have a project for you. I want you to build an ark. It's going to take time, a lot of hard work, a lot of preparedness, because there's something coming that is going to devastate the world. I always find it interesting when it comes to Noah's Ark, that story that we tell our kids, the story of Noah's Ark. We even paint pictures of Noah's Ark and the animals, 2 by 2, they march on, you paint on the wall of their bedroom, maybe. 2 by 2, the animals are marching onto the ark. This is a story of apocalyptic level. This is a story of the world being devastated. And we tell our children the story. And if we tell them the whole story, we talk about Noah's Ark and then God flooded the earth. Daddy, why did God flood the earth? He flooded the earth because of sin, because of man's sin. That's what's so amazing about the whole Noah's Ark story. We are talking about a story that is really about an apocalyptic event that God himself allowed to happen and inspired Noah, asked Noah to prepare. You can also go back to the Old Testament and I bring these stories up all the time because I think we need to hear this sometimes over and over and over again to realize that it is in Scripture that God actually tells people to prepare for physical problems that are coming. So you go back to St. Joseph of the Old Testament. He was hated by his brothers. He was thrown into a well. Eventually, he was sold into slavery, and eventually he ends up in prison in Pharaoh's company. He's called out to be in Pharaoh's company to interpret a dream for Pharaoh. Pharaoh has this horrible dream of 7 fat cows, 7 skinny cows. The skinny cows eat the fat cows, but they don't get fat. And then you've got 7 grains of wheat or corn there that eat they're emaciated, weak, sickly grains, and they eat the 7 healthy grains. And this dream terrifies Pharaoh. He doesn't know what the answer is to it. He doesn't get any help from his counselors and his advisors. So Joseph is called out of prison, and he comes and speaks to Pharaoh, and he explains the dream. You're going to have 7 years of famine, following 7 years of bounty, just tremendous blessing. What do? You need to prepare during those 7 years of bounty for the 7 years of famine. You have to prepare for them. How do we prepare? We're going to go throughout the land, and we're going to take a measure of wheat and other, I'm sure, necessary items and store it up. Now, Scripture states that they took so much that they couldn't even count it anymore. It was that extensive that they could not even count how much they had stored up. But you have to think, not only did they take the wheat and the other grain and whatever else they needed, they had to create the containers, the grain bins, the storage units to store it, which means that their lives were changed and they had to treat their lives differently in order to prepare. A lot of us don't want to disrupt our lives. Okay. I mean, we see this all the time. One of the reasons, we have 3 main reasons I see out there of why people don't prepare. They'll say, well, I don't want to disrupt my life. It's too expensive. It basically, it's a disruption of my life, financially, time. I don't think it's necessary, right? I don't think it's necessary because I think that there are other ways we can take care of this. I think everything's going to work out. I think. My opinion is, if we look at history and we see in places where people didn't prepare, we see the devastation and damage that comes from that. So it is essential for us to realize the importance of preparing. We prepare on a day-to-day basis anyway. When we go out of the house, we take certain things with us. I like to call it, many of you, I'm sure, EDC, everyday carry, the things that you carry with you every day. Ladies, you take your purse with you. Maybe you got some makeup thrown in there. Maybe you got a nice tactical flashlight tucked into that there purse, hanging on it. You got some pepper spray. That's a good idea. You got your car keys, your phone. These are things that you take with you because you think you'll need them throughout the day. If you think that your day is going to require this, that, or the other thing, something else, then you will add that to your list of things that you take with you. So you already do prepare. We already do. We take things with us throughout the day that we think we're going to need. Now, if we look at what's happening on our world right now, and again, while there are many people who will say, sorry, quick message just came in here. Want to make sure I'm catching it. All right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Perfect. So yes, if you think about the reasons that you have, you can fill in the blank yourself. I don't think I need to prepare because, and fill in that blank. Oftentimes it's, I don't want to disrupt my life. I don't want to have to throw any money into it. I don't want to, and that's different than people who say, well, I don't have any money. For some people, it is much harder. There's no question. But even people who don't have a lot of money, when you go to the grocery store, for example, and you buy 3 cans of tuna, buy a fourth or a fifth, buy 1 or 2 extra, and take those and put those in your storage. That's your emergency food. Go get a case of water. The day may come when you turn on your faucet and no water comes out. Now, that'll be a tough time for a lot of people. The first thing many people do is they pick up the phone and they call whoever they need to. If they're in an apartment complex, they're calling their landlord or the maintenance department. If they're in a house, they're calling maybe the city water company. Hey, what's going on? Call the water company. Why do I have no water? And what if the answer is, it's going to be a few days. We've got some problems. We've got this, that, or the other thing. So it's going to be a while before we can get you some water. Then what do you do? Honestly, what do you do? And if you have people that you are to care for, if you have people under your roof that you are to care for, what will you do if you can't give them water even? So when you're at the grocery store, pick up a case of water. Pick up a few extra gallons of water. I recommend you try to get containers that are BPA-free plastic, which basically means that the plastic is not going to break down over time and leach into the water. You can get BPA-free plastic. The grocery store we shop at here, they've got individual bottles of water. Now, I've got quite a bit of it. I never reveal how much I have to people in general because it's just not a good thing to do, because you don't know if one day someone's going to decide to knock on your door that you're not sure you want knocking at your door. But if someone does knock at my door, I want to be able to help them. That's a Christian thing to do. God wants us to be able to help. So if someone comes to the door and says, I need some water, what do we do? Maybe I can't give them my 7-gallon jugs of water. I got 7-gallon containers, BPA-free plastic. Reliance is the brand name. We've talked about this. Go to our YouTube channel. Some of you are on our BR Coalition YouTube channel, and you can see the video that we talk about water containers. I don't want to give out the 7-gallon jug. I need that for my family and those, my friends and the neighbors that I've taken in or that I'm working with to care for. So at least I can give them a handful of bottles of water. So there are good reasons to have water. Now, I bring up water as a main issue because that's something that we take for granted a lot of times. Another thing we take for granted is food. We think we're just going to run to the grocery store at any given moment. I can go to the grocery store and I can grab anything that I want off the shelf. Notice that the shelves are empty in a lot of places. Check out the video that we put out recently on our BR Coalition channel. Notice the B-roll that's in that video, images. And this is from all different news sources, left, right, all different news sources are saying it. Food shortages are not coming, they are happening. They're just not very serious for us in the West right now. In, you could say, more industrialized nations. A lot of the third world countries and other nations are really hurting bad. And it will get worse based on the war in Ukraine, based on what we see happening with the supply chain problems. Right now, China has locked down, about a week and a half ago, I heard 47 cities have partially or entirely locked down in China. A lot of our imports, right, that we bring into the US and other nations do too, they come from China. So you've got food issues, the Ukraine and Russia, of course, with the sanctions and the war, that's blocking a lot of food production. In addition to that, we got fertilizer prices going through the roof. Now, fertilizer prices going through the roof translates into higher prices for food. I was recently in Nebraska. I've got family up there. So I'm up there in Nebraska recently visiting some, pardon me, some friends and family. Excuse me one second. All right. Okay, a little shot of that organic coffee. All right. So I got friends and family up in Nebraska, and I'm talking to him about it. And there's a guy up there. He's a friend. He's a farmer. He's in the farming industry. Now, he actually travels and works with farmers all over the Midwest, but his family actually literally does farm. Some of you watching right now, pardon me, maybe you farm, you know people who do farm. And he told me point blank, he said, Doug, right now we're looking at fertilizer prices that have soared. Prices that used to be approximately $500 a ton of fertilizer are now roughly $1,800 a ton. He said, you will see this, especially by 2023. It is coming. And it's going to really shake the world. Now, we're also seeing a lot of indications and a lot of signs, pardon me, that June, July, August are going to be critical times. I encourage you all tomorrow, when the U.S. Grace Force podcast comes out, that Father Richard Heilman and myself, we had our friend Dan Schneider on again. He works with Father Chad Ripper, the exorcist. He does amazing spiritual warfare work. We talked about the diabolical aspect of what's going on behind Roe v. Wade. And the Roe v. Wade issue is big. And it's not big just in the political realm and the fact that it looks like we're going to gain some ground back and save some lives of babies and mothers, and the devastation that mothers and fathers and families feel with abortion for so many reasons. Not just that, but the diabolical response of what's going on here, because abortion is been referred to as a sacrament of those who just feed off of this idea of selfishness and so forth. And I know there's so many reasons why it happens that a woman has an abortion, but it's always wrong. It's always evil. It's always evil. But the diabolical response, demons do not sit idly by, especially when they lose ground. The retaliation is clear. Now, it was reported on yesterday morning, a priest in Katy, Texas, down by Houston, reported that someone stole the tabernacle from his church. So the Blessed Sacrament, our Lord, the Eucharist, has been stolen. We can only sadly, tragically imagine what could be happening in the desecration of the Eucharist. Not to mention this organization, Ruth Sent Us, has tweeted out they will be burning the Eucharist. We're really in a unique state and time right now on so many levels, spiritually and naturally. Now, we are putting on a workshop next week. It's free. I encourage you to sign up. We've had over 4,000 already sign up for this, and there's still a week out. We've added 2 more. It was going to be on Tuesday only, 2 workshops on Tuesday. The live workshops, and they're free. They're live webinar workshops. Now we've added 2 on Wednesday, the 18th. So the 17th and the 18th of May, next week, next Tuesday and Wednesday, we are going to be putting on these workshops. Now we may be adding more. If the numbers continue to go up, we're going to be adding more. We want to reach as many people as possible. If people keep signing up, and we can only take 1,000 per webinar. Now, not everybody always comes out. They sign up for the webinar. They don't always show up for the webinar. But we need to make it as available as possible. So we're going to do that. We're trying to help people, and we're going to give concrete steps of what you and I can do to be better prepared. 15 concrete steps we're going to be focusing on. You can go out. I think that it might be written in the description. Not sure how it was written up in here. Doesn't matter. You can go out right now to BRCoalition/workshop. BRCoalition/workshop. Double checking that right now to make sure we got that right. BRCoalition/workshop. BRCoalition/workshop. Sign up. Tell others about it. Let them sign up. Free workshop next week. Tuesday, the 17th of May and Wednesday, the 18th of May. 2 on each day. If you sign up for it there, it'll give you the times, 1 in the afternoon and 1 in the evening on both days. And what we're going to do is go through some, again, real concrete steps on what can be done, what we can do to be in better shape, better prepared for what's happening. This is the sort of thing where we see things right in the face, staring at us in the eyes, face to face. We're dealing with this, and many people still won't budge. We're seeing grocery store shelves that are half empty. Some that are completely empty. We're seeing images of China, for example, where I saw a video of people fighting over vegetables in a grocery store. And the camera panned across. Someone in their phone just panned across with the camera showing massively empty shelves. And then they locked down 47 more. Obviously, you know why they've locked it down. They're looking for a zero policy of, I don't know, some sickness, some virus in the air. It's crazy. It's a virus. For heaven's sake, it's a virus. But this is what they want. This is what they claim they want. There's much more behind what's going on there. The events happening in our world right now are serious. We are not to panic over it, though. It's not about being afraid and panicking. That's not what we're talking about here. The goal is that we take seriously what's happening and we respond to the best of our ability with the resources, with the means, with the times that are at our disposal. So I really want to encourage you all to take very seriously the reality of the times that we're in. And then, what can we do about it? How can we actually take the times that we're in and really mobilize and do something with those times so that we can be better prepared for ourselves and for those that God has entrusted to our care? All right. There are a lot of comments coming in here. It's going to be impossible to get to everybody. Appreciate you all coming in. Hey, Rich. Okay, Rich is a friend of mine, Rich Benjamin. And all I'm going to say, because I don't want to reveal too much about Rich knows what he's talking about. I'll make that very clear. Rich knows what he's talking about. He's commented here. It's going to get worse in a hurry. I trust Rich because Rich understands things because of where he is and what he does. And so I would heed that statement there, that it's going to get worse in a hurry. Weeks, months, maybe. You look at June again, the podcast, the U.S. Grace First podcast coming out tomorrow that Father Heilman and I do. Dan Schneider, our guest. We talk about what's happening with Roe v. Wade. We talk about the fact that in June, the official decision will come out. Now, what it will do is it'll turn, I think, 25, 26 states in the United States right now have trigger laws. This could outlaw abortion like that. Now, that's going to upset the enemy, no question. We see that already. The retaliation is already there. Protesting in front of Supreme Court Justice's house, even though that is against the law. You are not supposed to protest or threaten in any way or try to intimidate in any way an officer of the court, because it could sway a decision that has to do with our justice system. But they're not arresting these people. Why not? January 6th, they were arrested, thrown in jail. This is something that is so right there in our face, the problem here. Now, combine the fact that when the Supreme Court justice comes out with their decision, and you see half the country could very quickly outlaw abortion in most cases. The enemy is not going to take that lightly. Also in June, you have, and this is in the podcast more in much greater detail. Also in June, you have the beginning of the USCCB's effort to elevate a Eucharistic revival, the sacrament of the Blessed Sacrament, the source and summit, our sacrament, Christ himself, body, blood, soul, and divinity. Elevating the truth of the Eucharist while taking away the sacrament of the left in their abortion, their child sacrifice. This is going to create enormous, hellish response from the diabolical. We need to be ready. Spiritually and physically, we need to be ready. This is why I really encourage you to go out to brcoalition.com/workshop. Sign up. Now, we don't do workshops without talking about the spiritual aspect of these things or world events. So our workshops are not just about how to plant a garden and how to this and how to that. We do address some of that to a degree. But we're going to do, like I'm doing right now, we're going to address the variety of issues going on, what's staring us in the face, and what we should do about it to respond to it. All right. Let's scroll through here, a couple things here real quick. You know what I'm going to do before I do that? Second here, I want to make sure I got a couple points in here. You know, because a lot of times when it comes to people who don't want to prepare, they find reasons. They don't want to put money into it. They don't have a lot of money. I understand that. Some people do have money. They don't want to put into it. Some people don't have money. You can still buy a little bit here and there and just start adding on to that. In addition to that, you've got to build community. You've got to get connected with other people. It is so imperative to get connected with other people, to look at growing gardens. I don't know how to grow a garden. Then start connecting with people who do. How great is it when people, and I know this is going on, people in certain parishes, churches around the country are building coalitions with other people. And they're starting to share information. They're starting to let each other know what they can do. Another idea here is when it comes to prepping, and you got a whole lot of material, but you don't know how to use it. Developing skills. Skills are important. And if you don't have certain skills, I don't have a lot of skill in certain areas. I got a lot of skill in other areas. I used to work construction, so I'm good with my hands. I can build things. I can repair things. That doesn't intimidate me at all. Give me some tools, hand tools even. Don't even have to be power tools. We can knock this out of the park. We can repair things, fix things, build things. I can bring that to the table. Defensive measures, I'm all about that. Train, defensive, whether it's firearms, basic hand-to-hand self-defense, stay in shape, work out, lift, train, get strong, get fit, get healthy. All that stuff, absolutely. That's into my wheelhouse. Gardening is not in my wheelhouse. I can grow a little bit. So I've got to seek outside for that. Or medical, not in my wheelhouse. I can do basic stuff, right? Scratch and cut kit, you could say, but when it comes to setting a broken bone, if you can't go to the hospital, maybe it's a gunshot or laceration of some sort. What do you do in those cases? Now, our Battle Ready Emergency Preparedness course covers some of these types of things, which you can find our brcoalition.com website. But when it actually covers a lot of this stuff, most of this stuff, we cover 5 main categories. But these are the points I'm bringing up about finding skills that you don't have and learning to work with other people. Getting connected with other people, building community is absolutely critical when it comes to these things. Another reason people don't want to get started is they don't want to change the layout of their house. I know this for a fact. People have said, Doug, if I do this, then I got to dedicate a room or a closet or under my bed for food, water, other supplies. I want to make that space. I don't want to make space for extra stuff. Most of us can purge things from our homes. I'm constantly going through purging process, constantly going through my closet, constantly going through my office closet, even the drawer of my desk. And you find things, oh, what is this? Where did that come from? How long has that been in there? How long have I not been using this? I don't need it there. So you make a pile, stuff you're going to keep, stuff you're going to throw out, and stuff you're going to give away. And you thin things out and you make space, and then you bring other items in that are going to be good and helpful in a crisis, in a tough situation. Starting to develop a plan is important. And that's another reason people don't want to prepare, is they don't want to even start to plan to prepare. It takes energy. It takes time. I will say this, springboarding off what my friend Rich here says, it's going to get worse and in a hurry. I've been saying this for years. It takes time to train. It takes time to prepare. It takes time for me to work out. And I work out at least probably 5 days a week. Even if it's a 10-minute quick drill, Tabata style, whatever workout. Normally it's at least a half hour. Sometimes it's a little longer, but I get it in. I get the workouts in. I want to be stronger. I want to be healthier. Got a job to do. I got to be ready. Got to be ready for a long time. Right? I'm only in my mid 50s. My goodness, I might live to 110. I don't know. And I want that quality of life to be good. I want longevity. I want health. I want all of that to be running on all cylinders to the best of my ability. So I eat right and I train. But it takes time to do this. A lot of people simply don't want to make the time. They don't want to make the time to plan. They don't want to make the time to train. But again, based on what Rich is saying here, things could get worse and in a hurry. What if you knew you had 3 months? Let's say you had 3 months, and in 3 months, the supply chains were going to be cut. A civil war was going to break out. What if we knew in 3 months for sure that this war in the Ukraine was going to expand to become a third world war, which we've been told over and over, even by Russia, that is a possibility. And if we knew that was the case, we had 3 months, what would you start doing today? Some people inevitably would say, well, then there's nothing we can do. We're just going to live it up until. That's not a good attitude. Because in every single war, in every single crisis situation, there are always people that survive it. And there are always people that suffer through it. And the better prepared those people are, or the better prepared other people are who can intervene and help them, the better prepared, the less the chaos. The more we train, the better we prepare, the less chaos we will find ourselves in, the less collateral damage, the less upheaval. Now, because of the prophecies of the Blessed Mother, Fatima, when she warned us in 1917 that there would be a second world war, and it was all hinged on one main thing: if man does not stop offending God. She said, you will have a second world war. It will be worse than the first. And what happened? World War II, the devastation estimated more than 70 million dead. Now, she warned it at the time World War I was nearing its end. It ended in 1918. But we have to remember, when heaven speaks, heaven doesn't lie. So we've been told by heaven, our Blessed Mother herself, that these are her words in Cuapa, Nicaragua, 1980, you are hastening the arrival of a third world war. Now, at this point, I want to insert this. I don't like being caught up in emotion. I don't like being caught up in drama. That's not what I'm aiming for here. I'm not trying to in any way get anybody fired up over emotion and drama. That's not the point. But we do have to take it seriously. So when we see reports out there in the news, and again, when we're done here, don't do it right now because we're hanging out together. We're online together here. But when we're done, please go out, be our Coalition YouTube channel. And I know you're on it right now. And Facebook members, get on over there and check it out. Be our Coalition YouTube channel. Watch the most recent video on food shortages and supply problems, basically. And see, even in the B-roll, the images that are coming from news sources everywhere. This is real, but we can mitigate it. We can mitigate it by being better prepared. So whatever your reason is for not wanting to take steps forward, and I know if you're watching right now, and we got 156 here, and I'm not sure what we have on the Facebook page over here going, but if you're watching right now, in fact, I don't know if I can find out. Let me see here. Not a lot on over here. We got, okay, yeah, it doesn't look very much. No, that's the wrong number. Okay. All right. If you're watching, though, or you're going to watch this later, you're probably already on board to some degree, right? You're either on board or you're bored. Little joke there. Okay. Hey, we got to keep a sense of humor in the middle of this. All right. We got to keep a sense of humor when it comes to this stuff. However, if you're watching, you're probably already on board with what we're talking about. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But you know, there are people out there, they find every excuse under the sun as to why they don't have to, why they shouldn't, why it's just not important to prepare. Sometimes it's simply a matter of, I'm just going to trust God. He's going to take care of it. But God works through ordinary means. I put this in the podcast. I said this in the podcast that went up today, our BR Coalition audio. It's an audio podcast. And I made that point in there that, it's very easy for us just to fall into that mindset that God is in control. We hear this all the time. We have to understand that everything in the world, everything in the universe is within God's power and his omnipotence, yes. But he doesn't control everything, meaning he doesn't force everything, especially in the area of the human soul. He does not force us to do anything. If God was in the kind of control that some people want to look at it as, then he would end abortion in an instant. He does not want abortion. He would end human trafficking. He would end all the horrible assaults against the dignity of the human person. He would end these things in an instant. But he doesn't control what we choose to do. So God is not going to control whether or not you and I choose to put gas in the gas tank. If a thunderstorm's coming, you see the clouds, you see the rain is falling, you see the sheets of rain coming in the sky at a distance, the lightning is flashing, the thunder is rolling through the air, it's coming your way, the winds are blowing your way, and your windows are wide open. Are you going to stand there in the house and say, not worried, God's in control, he's not going to let the rain come in the window? No, we wouldn't do that, because we know we play a part in what happens in our lives. We have to go shut the window. We see the storm coming. We see it already hitting. Food shortages, supply chain problems. Neon is another one. What do you mean, Doug? What do you mean a neon shortage? Neon. Why is neon important? Well, we need those, open signs on all of our restaurants. No, that's not. That's what neon is. Yeah, they use it for that. Neon is used in those little tiny electronic chips that are in my microphone, my laptop, my other computer, in your refrigerator, your dishwasher, your microwave, your phone. Those little chips are in your car. They're in almost any electronic device that we're using these days. We know this because we see chip shortages that have affected our automobile industry to the point where there are countless automobiles that are just sitting in parking lots, in production plants, that are not being released because of chip shortages that cannot complete the project of the automobile. If neon is in short supply, that's going to be dramatically impacted even more. Aluminum is another one. Aluminum cans. How about baby formula? You've seen the reports probably on baby formula. Baby formula is in short supply right now. That's terrifying for some parents. I know some people right away are saying, well, then, women should nurse their children. I think that's great. That's how God designed, right? The situation to be. But that's not the case for everybody. And we can't just go back to that right away and say, there, you get what you deserve. That's not the way to look at it. The problem is there's a supply problem. It does not look like it's accidental. You can't keep blaming this on that thing. I got to be careful because I've already had some videos taken down in the past. I don't want, you know what I'm talking about. That medical issue, that health emergency. They blame everything on that, or they blame it on Russia. It's not that. There's more to it. We're dealing with diabolical forces. There is so much coming to head right now. I believe you got the diabolical and you got the Blessed Mother, and they're going to meet. We know who's going to win, but there's going to be chaos in the process. We had Father Chad Ripper on. He's an exorcist. Great priest. We had him on our podcast. We've had him on several times. We had him on a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, roughly. We asked him about the triumph of Mary's Immaculate Heart, which she said in Fatima, her Immaculate Heart would eventually triumph. Yes, it will. And it's going to be amazing when it does. But I asked him, I said, Father, do you think that people take that Mary's heart will triumph and they just kind of rest on that and don't feel like they need to be part of anything. He said, oh, absolutely. There are a lot of people who think in general that triumph is going to happen. Everything's going to be roses. Everything's going to be peace, without realizing that the enemy will stop at nothing. The enemy of our souls is an A predator, an alpha predator. This is the diabolical predator that pays attention and monitors and is relentless. If we think that as Dan says in the podcast that comes out tomorrow night, U.S. Grace Force podcast. By the way, YouTube took us down. Just want to tell everybody that on YouTube here and on Facebook. YouTube took down the U.S. Grace Force for right now, said that we could not post until July 5th. Not happy about something that came out a year ago, show that we had, an episode, and they took it down and they said, misinformation, the Disinformation Governance Board that the Department of Homeland Security now has. Yeah, that's been active for quite a while. It's just now reaching another level. But YouTube took it down. So for the U.S. Grace Force podcast, please go out to Rumble. We have a channel on Rumble. You have to type in U.S. Grace Force, all one word, U.S. Grace Force, all one word, and you'll find our videos there. That's where this will be tomorrow night. It comes out about 6 p.m. Sometimes it's a little later, depending on the internet and how effective it's working as we upload and so forth. But in there, Dan says, the demons don't just retire. They're not hanging out at Shady Hills, elderly home for demons, just playing checkers. They don't do this. They're relentless. Our Lady is going to crush the head. We see that. Yes, we know that. But there will be retaliation. There will be wickedness rising up on all levels possible. We have to be better prepared. I want you to, again, go out to brcoalition.com/workshop. Sign up, please, for the workshop next week. Share this information with others. Everybody knows somebody out there. And again, I'm betting that those of you, 171 on YouTube and the followers on Facebook, again, I can't find the exact number. I'm not sure where it is. But I got to tell you, you all know somebody. We all know somebody who is literally not doing what they could be doing or should be doing with regards to signing up for or getting on board, I should say, with being better prepared, just buying some extra food and water, having shelter and secondary locations for shelter, and also having community, friends, people you can count on, having the conversations in advance. Now, there are people out there, I call them reckless preppers, people who are recklessly prepared. Oh, I got all the guns and ammo in the world, Doug, but they don't have any food, they don't have any skills, they don't train at all. Or people who have all the food, they have gardens coming out their ears, but they don't have any means to defend and protect what they have put in place for food or medical and so forth. They're not thinking of these different areas. So we're going to be talking about some of this on the workshop, and then we have the course, the Battle Ready Emergency Preparedness course on our channel or on our website, brcoalition.com. And that Battle Ready Emergency Preparedness course, we call it BREP, B-R-E-P, obviously acronym for short. That BREP course goes into 5 key things, and we address this regularly in a variety of our content in various places. You need food, you're going to need water, you're going to need medical, you're going to need shelter, and you're going to need a means to defend and protect. A lot of people, they'll pick 1 or 2 or 3. They don't pick them all. I see that as a bit reckless, and I really encourage you not to be that way, because there's so much at stake if we don't take this stuff seriously. So I really encourage you to look at all 5 of those departments: food, water, medical, shelter, defense, and make sure you're looking at these different areas and how you can really shore those areas up and get in better position for all that. brcoalition.com/workshop is the place to go to get signed up for this. We're doing 2 days next week, Tuesday the 17th, Wednesday the 18th. We're doing 2 workshops each day. Earlier today, we had over 4,000 who had signed up already. Between all 4 of those workshops, we can let 1,000 people into a workshop. That's how many we can allow on the webinar. Now, not everybody comes onto a webinar when they sign up for it. So we know that that's the case. So people will sign up, and then when the day comes, something happens or they forget about it. And I fully understand that. People's lives are busy. However, we will most likely add more workshops if the list gets bigger. We don't want to leave anybody out. I desperately do not want to leave anybody out. You hear the term, if we're going down swinging. Well, if we're going to be hit with food crisis and all kinds of, epic problems, I want to be hit with those problems while swinging away on that battlefield. And that's what I want to do by sharing this with you all and encouraging you all to, again, go out to brcoalition.com/workshop, share this information with others, get more people involved. Let's help more people be prepared. Another reason that it's good to be prepared in cases like this, why we should, again, share that information with others, is we need to be thinking about, if I'm better prepared, then I'm less of a strain on somebody else. I don't want to use the word burden, but really it comes down to that. If I'm better prepared, I've got food, I've got water. Let's imagine I don't. Let's imagine I don't have any food. I have enough food for a couple of days, which a lot of people, that's all their food is. I mean, they got a little canned items here and there, but push comes to shove. A lot of people, they don't have a lot. They don't have maybe more than a week of food or even a few days, because we're constantly going to the grocery store. And we think we got water because we turn on the faucet and there it is. It's right there coming out of the faucet. But if it all gets shut off and there's no food, and if I don't have any, I'm going to be going to the neighbors' houses. I'm going to be knocking on doors. Hey, Jim, you spare a couple of, I don't know, Twinkies, donuts? You got anything? Some ramen soup noodles? Oh, I'll need some water too to cook the ramen soup noodles. Oh, the natural gas or the heat was shut off, so I need a means to cook it as well. You follow me here? It's very easy for us to set these things aside, and then when everything hits, we're knocking on doors trying to find somebody to help us with it because we haven't done anything to prepare for it. I would rather be on that other side where if someone comes to my door and says, hey, Doug, you got something to share? I can say, yeah, I do, because I took the time to prepare in advance. That's a charitable thing. It's a good thing. That's stuff we want to do. That's the position we want to be in, is that we can help others if we need to or want to. That's a great thing to do. It's very Christ-like. It's very what our Lord and our Blessed Mother want us to be. They want us to be thinking this way. But we need to take steps. We also need to be thinking about being safe. And that defensive piece and the safety also is part of why community is important. So we can help each other, train each other up, be prepared. I've done a lot of self-defense training, even some basic general firearms. I'm not an expert in firearms, but I can do basic stuff. But I've trained with experts, ex-military, law enforcement guys, Secret Service agent. I mean, you'll learn a lot when you train with guys like this, and you pick up a lot of great information. They shared their skills with me, which helped me become a much, much better, handler of firearms and other forms and means of self-defense. So it's constantly looking for people we can interact with that are good, they're grounded people, they're moral people, they've got a good relationship with God. I always say God-fearing, God-loving, rosary praying, sacrament receiving, scripture reading Catholics and Christians of other denominations who also have a good love of God, fear of God in a good holy way. We want to incorporate relationships with them for the right reasons so that we can be better prepared. It is never enough. I say it again, never enough for us to just sit back and think, I got a room full of stuff, right? I got water, food, I have even guns and ammo, but I don't have any skill. It's never enough to just sit on a room full of stuff. We have to develop the skills and learn that. And we get that from other people. That's a big part of how we get it. We learn it from other people. I'm going to scroll through some comments. We got a lot of comments rolling in over here. See if I can get through a couple here. Laura says, thank you. Several of you were saying thank you. Hey, we're thrilled to do this. It's an honor to be able to do this, especially right now with everything going on. We've been doing this stuff for years. I've been talking about this stuff for years, 32 years, in fact, in some way, shape, or form. In the last 10, 12 years, we've done a lot more on prepping and really looking at it through the lens of the Catholic faith and looking at it through really the signs of the times that we're living in right now, how important it is for us to take that seriously. So it is an honor for us. We're humbled to have the chance to do this, and I mean that sincerely. Everybody on my team, the BRC team, this is exciting for us to be able to help. I've got all kinds of stuff. It's all around me here in my office. In fact, items, whether it's even a small battery pack like this, a battery brick, they call it, to bigger stuff in different places here. I want to share it. I want to share it with people. One item I'm going to make mention here. This goes with me everywhere. Okay. It's a tactical flashlight. All right. There's different sizes, shapes of these. And I have a few of them that I use. And this is something I recommend to everybody, having light near you at all times. All right. Important stuff. We got a video coming out on this in a couple of days. important to have this stuff around you, but learn how to use it. So again, it's never enough just to have the food. If you don't have means to cook it, if you don't have means to take care of it, preserve it, it's never enough just to sit back and say, I got a few bottles of water. You've got to be thinking about other ways to sustain it. Could be growing gardens, raising chickens, working with communities that also do these things as well. Okay, so in other words, we're thrilled. So thank you, everybody, for being encouraging as you have been. So many have been here. Okay, case of water has doubled in price since last year. Buy now. You're right, Nancy. Water has gone up. Food has gone up. There's an economist out there named Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Some of you might be familiar with Robert Kiyosaki. And there was a tweet he put out, and then I saw him speak about it in a video, I'm going to say about a month ago, give or take. And he says, don't be surprised if a can of tuna reaches $25 a can. That's what he said. Now, he could be exaggerating it, but he did make clear people need to realize this is happening, this is coming, and you're better off to start preparing now. Yesterday, last week. In other words, start learning the skills. Watch all the videos that we have on BR Coalition YouTube channel. If you want to sign up for the BR Coalition BREP course, Battle Ready Emergency Preparedness course, you can go to brcoalition.com. You can do that right now. We're going to be talking about it next week in the workshop a little bit as well. But you can get that course right now. It's a one-time buy, and anything that we add to the course, you get with no additional cost. We're going to be regularly adding pieces to it. And it covers food, water, medical defense, and shelter. And we have checklists in there with links. A lot of people are going to listen to this and they're going to say, well, how do I get started? For example, Doug, where do you get that flashlight? Now, maybe someone sends it to you in the mail. I don't know. That might happen. That could be, that could be a gift you get. Maybe not. If it doesn't happen that way, you can get those links to items like this, to battery bricks like this, to bigger items. I've got battery stations over here, water, filters, you name it. All of that is on BRC Emergency Preparedness course, BREP. All the links are there. Click the link, boom, you're right there. These are items we have studied, we use or have used, for years. And there's a lot of great information out there. So again, if you're interested in that course, it's at brcoalition.com. Go out there and you'll find the battle ready emergency preparedness course. But if we don't take the steps, and again, a lot of people are unsure, well, how do I get started? Where do I go? What's my first step? We got to start learning some of this stuff. And that's what the workshop is going to be about next week. So brcoalition.com/workshop. Go out there, check that out, and get yourself signed up for it. brcoalition.com/workshop. Let's see here. How long do you think the food shortage will go on? Laura, I think it's going to go on a long time. I think they're laying siege to the people. I honestly do. I think you bring, boy, this was going to be about a half hour to 45-minute live. We're pushing an hour now. Look, the Great Reset, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, New World Order. This sounds very conspiracy theory. I was going to say fruitcake-ish conspiracy theory to a lot of people. It's happening. They have not hidden their desire to even reduce the population of the planet. From Freemason, the Masonic Guidestones, which is a monument to the Freemasons outside Atlanta, Georgia, it's these three big, they're giant stones. You can look it up. The Masonic Guidestone Monument outside of Atlanta, Georgia. There are basically like 10 commandments of the Masonic order. And the number one is reduce the population of the world to approximately 500 million people, 500 million. That means they have to get rid of approximately 7.3 billion individuals. Now, this seems unfathomable to people, but the Masonic effort is Luciferian. All right. This whole New World Order idea, it's been going on for quite a while. There's a lot of evidence about this. Even Pope Leo XIII, who wrote the Prayer to St. Michael the Archangel, wrote an encyclical back in the 1880s or so about Freemasonry, calling it what it is. It has an evil component to it. So you have that actually happening in our world. And then you bring in people like Klaus Schwab, and one of his close confidants is a man named Dr. Yuval Noah Harari. This man believes in hacking human beings and controlling them with AI, artificial intelligence. There are videos of him talking about this openly, and he has the ear of Klaus Schwab, who's head of the World Economic Forum. And they have talked openly in their conferences in Davos or the Global Government Summit, which took place in the end of March over in Dubai. These efforts to control the world. So, in answer to your question, how long do I think the food shortage will go on? I think it's part of a much bigger plan. You lay siege to a castle. What do you do to the castle? You strip the castle of resources. You don't let resources into the castle. You control the people by controlling the resources that the people need. That's why it's so important for us to take the steps to not be controlled by putting in place plans of action, a plan of action that allows us to not be under someone's thumb when it comes to things like food, medical, shelter, water, defense, and so forth. So I think it's going to go on a long time. I do. But hey, David and Goliath, right? Let's talk David and Goliath for just a moment here. David stepped up, saw the Goliath. And if you look at scripture, understand that the translation of the size of 6 cubits in a span or so that we see Goliath described as put him at over 9 feet tall, 9.5 feet tall. This was a giant, literally. And he was a hardened warrior. And David steps up, a shepherd boy. And right away, there are people who say, well, see, David trusted God. Look what happened. He took down Goliath. It happened. David did 2 key things that made it happen. Number one, he trusted God and God's strength and God's grace. Absolutely 110%. David trained, though. On a practical, natural level, David trained. We know this because when he's talking to Saul early on, and Saul says, how are you going to take on this giant? This man will kill you. He will crush you. You can imagine some of the soldiers of the Israeli army looking at David thinking, this little guy, the shepherd boy, he's nothing compared to that guy out there who for 40 days has been beating his chest and crying out twice a day, give me somebody, man on man. Whoever wins will enslave the other's army. It's a pretty serious moment. So when David steps up and says he's insulting God and God's army, not on my watch, and David says, I'll go take him on. And when Saul says, you're not able to do this, David says, I have killed lions, I have killed bears with my bare hands. I can do this. I will kill him too, this Philistine dog. And when he goes out there, David's got attitude. When he takes on Goliath, Goliath says to him, am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? And now David, really, this is your best? I'm thinking, the conversation. And then Goliath says, I will kill you and I will leave you here for your flesh to be eaten by the birds of the air and the beasts of the land. And David's response is, I don't think so, because I'm going to take your life. I'm going to leave you out here for the birds of the air and the beasts of the land and the entire Philistine army. So David's got attitude. He's got confidence. He's got trust. He's bold because he knew that God was on his side. He also knew he was skilled. He knew how to use a sling. He knew what he was doing. He had trained. He took time to train and prepare. So yes, I do believe, Laura, that this is going to go on a long time. I believe it's going to go on. I think it's going to, I got to be careful what I say in social media, right? We have to be careful because, things are being watched and listened to, and you never know. You just never know. But that being said, I do have to say this. I think it's going to reach a point when the conflict is going to be big. And God, when he's got faithful warriors working for him, ready to engage, spiritually first all the time, we should be in prayer all the time. When I was out earlier, I stopped by the church, a Blessed Sacrament. There was exposition. I was able to kneel in adoration for the Blessed Sacrament for a little bit. Just even stop in for 5 minutes, make a visit to the church. Light a candle. You have a special prayer you want to offer up. Light a candle, a votive candle, devotion. You turn to the Blessed Mother. You venerate her statue. Give her a kiss. Let God know that you want to be his warrior. You want him to train you up, body, mind, soul, and be ready for the fight, spiritually and naturally. And then learn the skills. This is how we show God we're serious about this. We're serious about this. We're not taking this lightly. Too many people are taking this lightly today. And it can't be taken lightly. All right, a lot of comments. We're at an hour. I'm going to buzz through some comments here. You've all been very patient. Still got 170. Love it. God bless you all. Thank you for being with me right now. Trisha Olson, I've registered for Rooted. Way to go, Trisha. Boom. Love to see that. Rooted, the workshop. We have new people right now, workshop next week, May 17th and 18th. We started with 2 on the 17th. When the word got out, we started sending emails out. People were signing up. We thought maybe we'll get a couple thousand signed up. We were over 4,000 early today. And so we decided to add 2 more workshops for May 18th on Wednesday. So sign up, it's free. And of course, you can spend however much time you want. It's probably going to be about an hour and a half, give or take, hour and a half. We're going to cover 15 main steps to help you be more concretely prepared for what's coming, especially in the area of food shortages and other shortages that we're seeing. We're going to address this in some good detail and really give some good information out there. So, and if you can't make the workshops, but you want to be better prepared, you can go out to BR Coalition YouTube channel. We have several videos out there. You want to really get immersed in this and really learn and get detailed on it, then I encourage you to go out to brcoalition.com and look at purchasing the BREP course, BREP, Battle Ready Emergency Preparedness course, and be better prepared. 5 key areas we always address. And there are many categories underneath these areas, but the 5 top categories: water, food, medical, shelter, and defense. And that breaks down everything from heat and filtering water and how do we cook food and so forth. And the spiritual aspect is also part of everything we talk about. I would say, keep a rosary in one hand. And I used to say, I can't say it. I'm not going to say it on social media anymore. Just be prepared. As again, Father Altman says, prepare your temporal ark, the world, the physical that you need to prepare, and prepare your spiritual ark. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to scroll through here. Gail says, starve people. Yeah, that's again, Gail, that's what they're trying to do. It's lay siege to the castle. You get people to do what you want. You get them to comply when you take away the things that they need. That's how you lay siege to somebody and you oppress them. If you can be in a position where you don't have to rely, even when they want to take away our dollar and turn it into a US digital dollar, and they're talking about doing that within 6 months to a year. That's not a joke. And they've made this abundantly clear. China's already doing this sort of thing. Europe and the US are fast getting close to this. There's been a lot of information out there on this. Glenn Beck has covered it extensively. I think he's done a great job. He's interviewed incredible people in the world, the economic world, who've said, yeah, this is all coming, US digital dollar. If they do that, they could potentially program that US digital dollar and determine how much you're allowed to buy based on the programming of the money. So if they say you bought enough gasoline, you're not green enough, you're buying too much gas, you want too much fuel, so we're not going to let you buy any more gas. They could do this sort of thing. That's what they're aiming for, according to many experts in the field. Also, they're talking about, they've implemented ESG scores. ESG, look it up. I'm not joking about this. Environmental, social, basically political, social, and governance. And the ESG scores are already being used. Now, there are roughly 20 some states already, 20, 21, 22, that have anti-ESG score laws in place because they know this is already on the horizon. Big banks want to use ESG scores as a way. I just got bit by a mosquito down here. How did that happen? They want to use ESG scores to dominate, to dictate, and oppress. So we've got to be smarter than them, and we can be. And there are people out there working what's called parallel economies, where they're figuring out ways to interact with one another, whether it's barter system type of thing or cryptocurrency type of things. This is a way to really say to those elites who want to control, we're not going to take this lying down. Not on my watch. I don't want anybody out there watching right now, or anybody comes to the workshops, anything we do with BR Coalition, any of our training, anything I ever say in any talk anywhere. I don't want anybody to ever think, oh, Doug, this is too bad. What are we going to do? We're not going to let fear paralyze us and turn us into that curled up position on the floor where we just can't move. That's not what this is about. This is about letting it be a healthy fear that motivates us to move. Is there not a healthy fear if you're walking through a parking lot at night or even in the daytime and you see or hear somebody coming up behind you like they're about to ambush you and assault you, mug you, rob you, or worse? What's your response? Oh, I'm not afraid. No, not at all. They're coming at me. There's a natural response of, wait a minute, this doesn't look good. I'm not going to take this, and I'm going to go to fight posture. I'm coming out. I'm drawn. I'm whatever. I'm going to deal with it in a way that says there's enough healthy fear that says if I don't respond to this appropriately, I could be dead. I'm not going to do that. So we need to have the attitude that says, yeah, we see this coming. We know this is real, but we're not taking this in a way that says, oh, well, I guess there's nothing we can do. I guess it's because that's what they want. We're about to release our film that we've been working on for the last year. It comes out June 25th is our premiere, taking place in Dallas. By the way, anybody who is part of that, great news today. Dr. Peter McCullough is joining us as a VIP. He's going to be there. John Leake, our historian, is going to be there. Looks like Father Hyman might be there. Father James Altman might be there. We got some, it's going to be awesome. So VIP people who basically had contributed to support the project at a certain level are all invited to come to this. But anybody who's might be watching or listening right now, if you're in that category, we got some great guests going to be part of that weekend, June 25 and 26, coming up next month. But again, this film, Doomed to Repeat It, is all about the fact that we've got tyrannical governments out there historically that use fear to intimidate and oppress and beat us down. Man, that is not in my blood to take that. It's not in my fiber at all. Because I think that DNA of King David is in all of us. And maybe you ladies feel funny about a King David DNA type of thought. Joan of Arc, then. Or better yet, for you ladies, the Blessed Mother, the one that crushes the head of the serpent. That DNA is in you, ladies. Some of you have been through a lot. You've been through a lot. And it's never enough just to say, I've been through a lot, so it hurts, and I'm beaten. I'm dead. No, what you've been through, what God has allowed you to go through, brought you through, strengthened you in. You have a strength and a grit in you that can withstand, and that can take suffering and trial and torment and pain and offer it up and get holier and become more of a weapon in the hand of God. I believe that about some of you ladies I know have been through a lot. And us men who've been through things, we struggle, we fight battles and so forth. Let's let that King David DNA just flow through the veins, and let's engage in this. I'm going off on a tangent here on this, but I'm telling you, we could be weeks, months away, as our friend Rich points out here earlier in the comment. Things change very fast. And again, I say that about Rich. I know we got new people jumping on because the numbers are constantly changing. Some people have to leave. Some people get on. This roughly half hour has turned into an hour and 10 minutes now, roughly. But yeah, Rich chimed in here earlier and made a great point, and I know Rich, and Rich is a friend, and he knows what he's talking about when he says things can turn fast in a hurry and get bad in a hurry. He knows of what he talks about. So I encourage you all to take that seriously. And remember, don't panic, but let the motivation cause you to go to the grocery store tonight. Actually, start by looking at all the videos we have on the BR Coalition YouTube channel. Right there, all that free content, get some ideas there. You want to go deeper and be fully immersed in this? You got the Battle Emergency Preparedness course, BREP, you can get at our website, brcoalition.com. At the very least, make sure you sign up for BR Coalition /workshop next week, 2 days of workshops, Tuesday and Wednesday, the 17th and 18th. We may be adding more. If the numbers keep going up, we're going to be adding more. We want to reach people. We've got to start acting upon these things now. So building community, developing skills, deepening our prayer life. Try to get the daily mass if you can. Get to confession at least every month, if not every couple of weeks. I've been going every 2 weeks on average for, I don't know, like 15 years or so. It's been amazing. Daily rosary, enroll in the scapular, get that scapular on. When you get a scapular, you get your scapular, make sure you hang on to that. Make sure that scapular is an extension of who you are. Why? Because the Blessed Mother gave us a scapular, 1251, St. Simon's Stock. Don't want to go down that path. It's another tangent to get on. We've been given the weapons from heaven, though. Use the weapons of heaven. Keep a rosary close to you. This one's on my desk all times. Rosary's near me, right? Engage in those weapons. Okay, more comments here. Tabernacles should be like safes. They should be bolted to stone and immobile. You're right, Ann. How they stole that tabernacle in Katy, Texas, St. Bartholomew Parish, Katy, Texas, over the weekend, tabernacle was stolen. All right. Right at a time when a tweet comes out from the Ruth Sent Us group saying they will burn the Eucharist. Don't anybody for a moment think that this Roe v. Wade thing is simply political, or that it's just something that's going to, we need the justices, Supreme Court, and it's just a talking point for this news. This is a diabolical problem here. We know this because abortion is so evil. But the retaliation of the demons, expect it. Expect it to increase. Expect this to potentially reach epic proportions of retaliation. And those aren't just my thoughts. I've been talking to several great priests. Again, Father Altman, Father Hauptman, Father Mike Leitner, several priests, and just others out there who just have that sense in their gut. Things are getting real now. But we're warriors. We're Christians. We're people of hope. We believe in the resurrection. We believe in a God who can make the seemingly impossible possible. He created us all and everything out of nothing. He can definitely give us the strength and the grace, the grit, the training. He can alter and redirect rivers. Think of Isaiah 43:19. See, I'm doing something new. Right? Look what's happening right now. It's beautiful stuff. Okay, moving on here. A couple more comments and then we'll wrap this. Mike DeVita. Hey, Mike, good to hear from you, brother. Sweden, Germany, UK, French governments are telling their citizens to stock up. Why isn't the US? Why isn't the church telling people to stock? You know, Mike, that's one of my hangups too, is our church leaders. This is why we lay people, and there are good priests out there like Father Heilman and such, and Father Altman, they're saying it. There's not a lot coming from the ranks, though, of the higher authority of our church. And I don't know. What's the answer? They're complicit with the problem. They're scared. They're not watching the news, maybe? I don't think that's the case. It is a devastating problem that our spiritual leaders are not looking at the parishioners and saying, you're seeing it in the news. It's not conspiracy, not trying to scare you. Good idea to get some extra stuff, even because of a storm. Now, I know some priests where I am here in the Tyler, Texas diocese. There are some priests here, one in particular, 70 years old, and the man is a rock star when it comes to this. The steps he's taking and what he's trying to organize in his parish. I know another priest up in the Lincoln, Nebraska diocese is meeting with families, and he's helping guide them through the spiritual aspect while the families discuss the natural aspect of what they need to do. And he's doing this with several groups, and he's meeting with them at least twice a month. So you do have some, but Mike, it's very few. And why our church leaders didn't speak out, at least you didn't hear publicly a lot. Maybe there were some, but I didn't hear a lot regarding the Ruth Sent Us and other pro-abortion groups that were threatening over this last weekend and are still threatening to burn the Eucharist and obviously steal the Eucharist and other devastating things. Why we're not hearing more from our church leaders regarding that, again, I don't know. Let's see here. Laura says, this is all surreal. We're definitely in the end times. It is tough right now. It's tough to put our finger on everything and how long this will last and what God will allow, but we need to be ready. We need to be ready. Remember, we load up, we get set, we be ready for the battle. Train up body, mind, and soul and be ready for the battle. Okay, I can't believe any doing is... I'm sorry. I missed something here. The fact that baby formula is having a shortage tells you everything. I agree. Timing is impeccable. They're after the children. Yep, they're after everyone. Baby's purely satanic. Absolutely. Boy, a lot of great comments. I love your conversations, everybody here. Let's see here. Have the 3 preparedness mistakes already been discussed? Ronald, these are old comments. I'm not sure when all these came in. I've been talking for quite a while here. Yeah, Ronald, you know what we did? We kind of went through the basic problems that people look at as how they misunderstand them, the different excuses they make for them, and then, or the reckless prepping where they'll do some or not enough of here or there. Or the third one is basically you have a lot of stuff, but you don't have any skill. So you got number one problem is, again, excuses we make. We just make excuses, why we don't need to prepare. And there's a number. I don't have the right kind. I have enough money. I don't want to put money into it. I don't want to be bothered with having to make a plan. Number 2, as we said, is reckless prepping in general. I got a little bit of this, but not some of this. I'm covering this, but not this. I'm not looking at the whole picture. Number 3 is, in general, I'm not doing anything to develop skills. I'm not really working with other people, community, and really knowing how to use the items that I have or any step forward at all with that. And it takes time to train, takes time to prepare. Okay, let's see here. Move down here. A lot of great comments in here. Marie says, good point. I never know what to say when people say it to me, especially when I'm talking about preparing for the worst. They say God is in control. Yeah, God is in control. I don't have to worry about anything. I'm sure many of you, and I put this in my podcast, my audio podcast that we did for BRC, BR Coalition earlier today. A lot of people have that attitude. that kind of fits into that story of the man with the boat and the flood. Some of you have heard this. There's a flood, waters are rising. First story of the house, first floor, boat comes up to the window, says to the man, hop in the boat, we're going to save you. And he says, no, God's got me. God's in control. God's going to take care of me. Okay, boat motors away. Waters keep rising. Man's on the second floor. Waters are at the second floor. Another boat comes by. Hey, pal, hop in. We got you covered. We're going to take care of you. No, God's got this. God is in control. Everything's fine. Boat leaves. Man's on the roof now. The waters have reached that level. Helicopter flies over. Do a helicopter sound here. Helicopter flies over, right? Lowers a rope. Grab the rope, buddy. We're going to save you. That's okay. I got this because God is in control. He's going to take care of me. Helicopter, okay, flies away. Man drowns. Day of judgment. Stands before God. Says to God, I thought you were going to help me. I thought you were going to save me. God responds, look, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. What more do you want? Bottom line is, yes, we do have to look at this through the eyes of how God has structured the system that we operate in, called the world. He put a brain between our ears. He put eyes in the front of our head. We see what's happening. We hear what's going on. Brain processes and says, I need to do something. God has created us that way. Remember the rainstorm. Rain's coming to your house. Your windows are open. You don't say, I'm going to trust that God's not going to let rain in the house. God's going to say, all right, well, you're going to get a wet carpet and you're going to get furniture. Rain's coming in because the natural order of things is as such. If God chooses, and he can, to rewrite all of this the last minute and not let starvation happen or people die in war. Wait a minute. I'm sure there are good, holy people in Ukraine right now. Maybe even some of them said that God is in control. And I'm not trying to come down on people, but honestly, good, holy people who had to flee their country, the tune of over 5 million refugees to Poland alone. Mass graves of thousands and thousands of people they've discovered. Do we really think for a moment in the last 2.5 months that this war has been going on that some of these people who have died or had to flee aren't really good, holy, faithful people who believed God was in control? But there were people who said, I don't have to leave. They said this to Nazi Germany in 1930s, and they said it now, I'm sure, in the Ukraine. And they didn't leave, and many of them died, and some brutally. And then there are those who said, I need to act, I need to move, I need to respond. And they got out of Dodge, basically. They loaded up and they left. They got their go bags ready and they headed out and they lived. And maybe they didn't suffer to the degree that the others did who were tortured and murdered. We could go on with these examples. It just is not a reasonable thing to think that a God who has put us in a world where there are natural things. I need to drink, when I'm thirsty, I need to drink, right? And I need to eat and I need to sleep and I need to exercise. I need to take care of the natural things that God gave me. In a crisis situation, why would we not think the same thing? Even more so. I hope and pray that helps. I really do, because I want to convince people to take it seriously, because again, the better prepared we all are, the less of a strain that we become on the system in the crisis. More people are helped, the better prepared each individual person is. And the more we can help other people. And that's a key part of it as well. Okay. Don't forget Old Testament, Joseph, Pharaoh, 7 years of famine, 7 years of bounty, all of that. Read that. Look it up, read it. That's another example of faith and reason. As John Paul II writes, faith and reason, you've got to put them together. We got to put it all together and make it work. Okay. So I got a lot of people hanging on here. I appreciate you all being with me. I am going to try to wrap this up in the next 10 minutes. I'm going to set a goal for myself and try to, can you tell that I'm a speaker for a living? It's not even just that. I shouldn't say that, because I don't want to give you the impression that I just like to talk, because in all honesty, I'm a bit of an introvert when I'm not doing these types of things. But why do I think this is so important? Because the time is ticking, everybody. Okay? Time's ticking. And I want you to be prepared. I want you to be safe. I want you to be happy, holy, healthy. I want you to be in a position where when trial and crisis hits, you're okay. You've got a plan. You've prepared. You've trained in some way. You've taken the steps. You got your pepper spray. You got your tactical flashlight with you. You got your scapular, your rosary. You got all those things that you need to help you be better prepared. Right? Love of good friends and family and people who care about you. Right? Because it's never enough just to sit back on your own and think, don't need to take any steps. Okay, let's see here. All right, good. All right, get myself a battery-operated table fan in case I lose power or air condition. $20 at Walmart, takes 60 batteries, got an 8-pack. Good job, way to go. Father Ripperger is amazing, working on his book on psychology. Excellent, way to go. Electronic Survival. I like that title too, Electronic Survival. I got it in the camping section. Anyone else is interested in getting some kind of fan? It's good if you're going to have heat this summer. Yeah, this is I'm a big fan of little things like that. Even having a fan in your prepping, by the way, get some extra deodorant, some toothpaste, right? A little mouthwash, that type of thing. Mints. Why? A razor. Why? If you can't use an electric razor, though you could if you have a backup, power station, solar powered power station. You can have these electronic devices. They're very, very handy. But why have little things like that, like deodorant and toothbrush and toothpaste and a razor? The same reason men in war oftentimes, when they can, find times to shave and clean up. It makes them feel human. If we have a serious crisis and the power grid goes down, we have problems like that. We want to feel human. We want to feel like we have dignity. So these steps, again, things like deodorant, toothpaste, a toothbrush, these things make you feel human. Baby wipes, unscented baby wipes. I'm going to say that. I got a lot of people still on here. Unscented baby wipes. Why? If the water gets shut down and you are not able to bathe, or you're not able to clean a cut or a wound of some sort, if you don't have running water, a cut, a wound that doesn't get cleaned can easily become infected. An infection can lead to many, many more serious problems. This is not a joke. Hygiene, good hygiene is not a joke. We can't take that lightly. If you can't bathe and you can't clean a wound, having baby wipes, unscented in particular, because if you clean a wound with the scented one, you've got perfume, chemical sort of stuff that's added to that. Get natural as much as possible. But if you can take what soldiers refer to as a field shower with a baby wipe, that helps. So again, you might be locked down somewhere with no access to utilities, water, electricity, and so forth. Having these little things make you feel human, and the hygiene can actually help save your life. All right. And really change the outcome of a crisis. Get yourself, not just a couple, you can get boxes of them that have individual packages of 100 or so. Get a few of those. You can share them with others. You talk about something to barter with in a crisis. That's the sort of thing you can barter with. Everybody needs to keep clean. It can also be used as a toilet paper, right? And if toilet paper gets wet, it can be completely useless. But baby wipes, you keep in a plastic container, plastic package. I also recommend get yourself a box or a couple boxes of quart and gallon size bags, the Ziploc bags. And get the heavy duty ones. Why? Because then you take the wipes, you stuff them in there. That way you need to keep them moist. And if the cap breaks, if you're hiking or you're moving or you're walking or it gets thrown around the house or whatever it is, and that cap breaks, then it's easy to, lose those baby wipes. They're going to dry out maybe. But, having Ziploc bags, gallon size, quart size, heavy duty ones, the freezer version and such, those are very helpful for a lot of things. My go bag that I keep in my vehicle, a lot of my items that are in the go bag are kept in the Ziploc bags as backup. So I got a hand crank solar powered flashlight / radio. It's tucked away in my go bag. It's only about so big, right? And it's in a Ziploc bag in the go bag. So if the bag ends up in the water, I don't want the items destroyed. If it gets caught in the rain or you fall in a lake or river, you don't want your items ruined. So the Ziploc bags are very, very helpful for that purpose. So these are little tips, little tricks. We have this stuff in our Battle Ready Emergency Preparedness course. Again, I encourage you, especially if you cannot make the workshops next week, the 17th and 18th, 2 workshops a day. Go to BR Coalition /workshops. Sign up for those workshops. Get on those workshops. But if you can't come, go out to brcoalition.com and look into purchasing the Battle Ready Emergency Preparedness course. Everything I'm talking about, wipes, Ziploc bags, all these little tricks, that are just things we've been doing for years. Having zip ties, plastic zip ties in your go bag, or having access to those, they're great connectors. They help hold things up that might break, or this, all kinds of little tricks like that we offer in this course. So I encourage you to go out and check that out. Okay, let's see here, a couple more comments and then we'll wrap this up. We got a lot of comments on here still. This is great. Love having all you people chiming in here. Denise says, I haven't heard any priests here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I assume you're talking about what's going on maybe with what happened with Ruth sent us groups, or even prepping stuff. So one of those things, priests just are not speaking out very much on this stuff at all, on any of this stuff, which I find baffling. Because we're going to, when everything really gets bad, we're going to be looking at some of these priests saying, did you have any idea this is happening? We need to be hearing from the pulpit. And I encourage any priests out there, and I pray for priests every day in my rosary. I pray daily rosary, and I pray for priests, clergy all across the world. I like to pray for any priest who needs prayers most, especially for whatever reason. Maybe they're being canceled, they're being persecuted, or maybe they're struggling and they're falling into heresy or have become heretics, or they're just soft, they're scared, they lack courage, whatever it is. I pray for priests. We need priests to be telling us that this Roe v. Wade situation is more diabolical than we realize, or that we're hearing, and we need to be spiritually adapting to the battlefield as it changes and deepening the prayer and be ready. The enemy's going to look for ways to pick you and me off. Again, I encourage you to listen to the podcast, U.S. Grace Force, tomorrow, 6 p.m. roughly is when it comes out. It's on Rumble if you're going to watch it. YouTube took us down until July 5th. We're in timeout, YouTube timeout. It's on Rumble. Go out there, watch it, or you can listen to it. I think iHeart's got it, Spotify, Apple. I'm not even sure. There are 5 or 6 different platforms have the audio version. But the discussion on the shifting of the battlefield with regards to this diabolical retaliation over Roe v. Wade is a very important thing for us to be thinking about. All right, a couple more comments. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, by the way, you want to bring me to your area to do a talk on preparedness? Email me. Send us an email. I'm going out in June to Nashville area to do a follow-up talk. I gave a talk out there about a week and a half ago. Great trip in Nashville. Week and a half ago. Phenomenal. Life-changing. Gave a talk out there on some of this, on this whole topic, and just great response. And someone came up and said, hey, can we do a follow-up of some sort? So yeah, I'm going out there with Father Altman in June 11th to the Nashville area. You can check, I'll probably put a post on my YouTube channel. On my Facebook page coming up soon when the flyer is all completed. They're working on that promotional material on it. But if you want to bring me to your area, I'll go anywhere for this. I'll be in California pretty soon, be talking about this stuff. I'll go to Florida. I'd love to go to Florida. I'd love to go to, I almost said Michigan. I don't know if I want to, I'll go to Michigan. It's a bit Democrat up there, but I'll go to Michigan, right? I'll go anywhere, basically. Wisconsin, you name it, Utah, to talk about this and encourage people to be better prepared, body, mind, soul. I'll go anywhere. We got to get the word out while we have the time, because I believe, my friend Rich here believes it too, that time is getting short. And we got to use the time that we have, but we got to use that time to train up and better prepared best we can. So if you want to bring me to your area, set something up, we'll arrange some way to get this done. All right? Don't let concern for money interfere with it. Don't let concerns interfere. Talk with us. We'll help you through it. I've done this for 32 years. I've seen every scenario practically you can imagine. And I've spoken in most every scenario you can imagine. I've done talks in living rooms because the local church didn't want to bring something like this in to talk about it. So yeah, we can get it done. Email me. We'll see if we can get something worked out. Okay, let's see here. Okay. People forget about God's permissive will. You're right, Denise, they do. All right. Claudia says, yes, exercise holy water is more powerful. Have exercise holy water. I love that mention. Okay, here's my blessed exercise salt. I have blessed exercise holy water. My file cabinet, that little black file cabinet you see right over there, that's the one. Yeah, it's got some spiritual weaponry in it, blessed salt, holy water. Got my blessed candle right here. Always have that burning during the videos and the webinars and so forth that we do. You got to bring the spiritual weapons in. You've got to make them integral part, extensions of who you are. right? Extensions of who you are, spiritual weaponry. Rosary, scapular, blessed salt, holy water, all of it. Bring it in. And adoration and confession and holy sacrifice of the Mass. Make that so much part of your life. Deepen that. Okay, let's see here. Moving through. Peace and blessings. Thank you all, Doug. God bless you. Thank you. Unscented baby wipes dry up too. They do, Denise. Yeah, that's why. Again, I hope everybody caught what I was saying about the unscented baby wipes. They do dry up. They'll all dry out. That's why, again, you seal them and then you put them in the Ziploc bag, the gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and zip that baby up, and that will help tremendously. I know I've done that in my go bag for years, and I can pull that out of my go bag. I've done it, checked them, used them, and they're fine. So absolutely, they do dry out. So we got to protect. This is, again, why developing the skills. One of the reasons people don't want to prepare is, or one of the problems with preparing, I should say, is they think they just get the stuff. Now I'm good. I know some people who have a solar powered battery station, but they haven't taken it out of the box. You got to take it out of the box. You got to start using it. Plug stuff into it, see how it operates. Plug it in, recharge it with the wall. Plug it in, recharge it with the solar panels. Learn how it operates. Find a good, safe place. You can keep it in your house, and I recommend getting the kind that's durable enough that you can take with you if you have to bug out. You got to go somewhere. So what I have a variety of things over the years that I've developed and added to the collection, and I like to make sure that I can grab it, throw it in the car, and leave if I have to. That's all very, very important. Okay, let's see here what else we got here. Looks like we're just about done here. Definitely need you in California, Esmeralda. I'd love to. Well, I'm coming out there. I'll be in Oakdale, I think is where it is, up by Sacramento area. Speaking at a men's conference in a couple of weeks. But I will come back out if someone wants to do a preparedness course type talk as well. I will travel to the best of my ability. They're obviously limited in some ways because there's only so many days, and there's projects and things that we're constantly working on. We are doing something pretty much every day in some way, shape, or 6 days a week for the most part. We obviously Sundays we try not to do anything. Sometimes I'm on a trip or something, but in general, we're shooting videos, we're posting things, we're dealing with as much as we can to try to constantly build the coalition of people who are better prepared, body, mind, soul, for what's going on in the world right now. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I think we're going to wrap up from there. We are looking at an hour and a half here. Hey, I want to thank everybody. You've all been fantastic. Cannot encourage you enough. One more time, BR Coalition/workshop. BR Coalition/workshop. Go out there, sign up. We've got workshops next week, two days. Right now, May 17th and May 18th. You can sign up for either one, depending on what room is left, because we can only take 1,000 in each webinar. This morning, we were just at over 4,000 people, roughly. And again, I know not everybody who signs up joins the webinar, but we want to reach as many as we possibly can. So we will most likely be adding more webinars if it looks like we need to throughout the rest of next week to what we can do, what we can fit in. But I want to encourage you, if you can't make the webinar, go to BR Coalition YouTube channel. You're on it right now. Facebook people, jump on over to the BR Coalition YouTube channel. Check out the videos we have on there. And then you can go out to our brcoalition.com website, and you can, if you're interested, you can sign up. We have monthly training that we do. We're opening the doors. Probably not, actually, it's not until almost fall, I think, when we open the doors. But get the BR Coalition, Battle Ready Emergency Preparedness Course. BREP, B-R-E-P, Battle Ready Emergency Preparedness Course. That course, the BREP course, will help you enormously. It's an immersion, you're really getting a lot. You're getting a lot of how to be better prepared. Food, water, medical, shelter, and defense. We need them every day. We want these 5 every day. We want to be better prepared in these areas. Okay, I've said that a lot, and we're going to wrap up from there. I want to thank you all. God bless you all. Remember, hope is found when you have a plan of action in the face of any crisis. We find hope, plan of action. For example, flat tire on the side of the road. Where's the hope there? The plan of action of being able to change the flat tire, or calling AAA or somebody to help you change the flat tire. You got a dead battery on your car. That's frustrating. Well, imagine you're out in Nowheresville. You're in a parking lot and everybody's gone and there's no one around to call over to jumpstart your car with jumper cables. What do? We recommend, and we carry, and in our vehicles, and we recommend you do too, these great little battery jumpstart devices. It's a battery pack, is what it is, that is made with little jumper cables on it. You put them on the terminals of your car. It's almost mistake proof. We have a brand called NOCO. It's in our battery emergency preparedness course. And it's just a great item to have. That's the plan of action that brings hope when your battery's dead and you either can't find anybody to help jumpstart your car, or you don't want to ask the people that are around because it might be a shady area and you're seriously concerned for your safety. So plan of action that brings hope. I got that little battery pack jumpstart device in my car. Pull that thing out, put it on the 2 terminals, hit the on button, hit the charge button, done. Simple stuff. So hope is found with a plan of action in the face of a crisis, and it takes time to train. So let's get ready to do it. Okay, I'm going to wrap it. God bless you and strengthen you in this fight. Whatever you do, please never lay your sword down on the battlefield and walk away. There's far, far too much at stake. Never enough to just say, I'm going to leave it, because God's in control. I'm not going to have to do anything. You can't do that. It's not the way to go about it. God has us in a world and calls us to be part of this world in a natural, ordinary way. And we can do this step by step, little by little. Don't be overwhelmed by it. Don't be scared, intimidated. Just start taking little steps. Start by watching the videos we have out there. Sign up for the workshop, brcoalition.com/workshop, brcoalition.com/workshop. This is the way to get the ball rolling, get started, and take it from there. All right. You're all in my prayers. I appreciate you praying for us, if you don't mind. And again, God bless and strengthen you. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. And we're doing a live tomorrow night again, and we're doing it again on, I think, Friday. So if you're interested, you can watch them again. There's always something different. I'm always coming up with something different to say, but in general, it'll be the same approach. But there might be people you want to share this with and get them on board. So if so, then look for it. All right. God bless you. We'll see you soon.